Hey everybody, good Monday morning, top of the morning to you. Come on, wake on up. Let's get this week going. Oh, sleepyhead, wake up there. Good Monday morning. It is 7:30 right now, and it's dark as night here in Atlanta with this new time change. Jill texted me yesterday afternoon, and she's like, "Oh my God!" She gets off at 7:30 at the hospital, and she's like, "Oh my God, it's still daylight when I get off of work now." So there's a good part. We have more daylight in the evening. But anyhow, everybody, good morning, top of the morning to you. Uh, let's do the morning post this morning. What adventures will this week hold? What good things will happen? Life has a way of throwing curveballs at us. We really never know what is coming or what is around the corner. But usually, and most of the time, it's good. I feel like I've been in this strange, odd mood lately. Maybe it is because of the chaos of war. All of that is unsettling for me. Maybe it is because the country seems frayed, and yet I feel like I'm on a solid foundation with my kids and Ava and Boom Boom always being my shadow. All of the yard is blooming. Spring is here. Although as messed up as the climate is, we could have a record snowfall by the end of this month and flowers peeking out from under 10 inches of snow. Ava and I went to Miss Darlene Swilley's funeral yesterday at H.M. Patterson's and Sons out in Brookhaven. I think the last funeral I was sitting here thinking this morning I went to was Ava's brother's funeral 7 years ago. And a little after that, I spoke at John's funeral. They say that a big part of life is just showing up. We just wanted to show up for Jim yesterday. No matter how much people call it a celebration of life, there is always a touch of sadness for me at a service like that. I felt weepy from the moment I walked in the sanctuary and sat down and the piano started playing old traditional gospel songs. I used to do a lot of funerals at one time in my life. I did quite a few at the H.M. Patterson and Sons on Spring Street in downtown. There was another funeral home right up from that one on Spring Street. I don't recall the name of it. But I remember doing a service at that one time, and a family gave me $500. Isn't it something how we remember people that put a nice little chunk of change in your pocket? $500 for a service back then, that was a lot. Back then, you usually got like 50, 75, maybe 100, for a little funeral service. The scripture says to weep when they are born and to rejoice when they die. I never have done that. I rejoice at the birth of any child, and I always allow myself to feel sadness and loss when they leave us. I think it is the human thing to do. I will be sad when Boom Boom leaves me someday. Death is a blessing, though. Could you imagine how horrible it would be if we never died? No matter how bad things got, we just couldn't die. For me, death is both a sad thing and a blessing. Life has taught me that there are many things much worse than dying. While visiting Kathy's sister in a home for dementia patients, I thought, one day, death will be the blessing these patients are waiting for. There are many things in life I've come to realize much worse than dying. Plus, who knows what the afterlife holds? Nobody. Or if it is simply going back to the same nothingness that we all were in before we came here. That wasn't so horrible, was it? Plus, seeing old friends at gatherings like yesterday, that alone adds an emotional touch to all of it, Growing up, a lot of times the only time we seen other parts of the families when we all gathered at funerals. After that, we didn't see them no more until the next funeral. I didn't know Jim's mom, Miss Darlene Swilley. But I think she was there. I think she was smiling ear to ear along with her husband. I could just probably picture her telling him, "That's our family right there. That's our family," as they honored her. Good Monday morning, sweet people. This week I will rejoice and be glad. I'm going to just choose to do that. I've got things to do. I've got life to live. There won't be any more funerals over there in heaven on the other side. But on this side, it's just kind of a part of life, saying goodbye to the people we love. The picture over on my Facebook page is Jim Swilly and Leslie. And Leslie is standing up and saying a few words at the end of the service. And then afterwards, Haven, I don't know what it is about going to funerals, celebration services, whatever. We were both hungry. Neither one had ate all day. We decided we stopped by Lenox Mall, and they got a mango chicken thing in that little walk dragon thing. We love the mango chicken and fried rice. I got us some mango chicken and fried rice. And then I had texted my doctor or emailed my doctor earlier, and I said, I'm flying on these 10-hour flights or whatever from Paris to London in a week or so. I said, can you just give me a little something to kind of knock the edge off of it? He sent me a prescription for some Xanax. I haven't taken a Xanax in 20 years. So we stopped by over there at a Vita Care on Peachtree Road and picked up my Xanax. I don't even know if I've taken it or not, but I may. I want to. 10 hours is a long time to sit on a flight. Maybe a little Xanax will help. But anyhow, y'all, love y'all. Let's just go ahead. It's spring and life is swirling and twirling. And I'll tell y'all something else too, since you made it this far. Have I got time to tell this? Talking about them people gave me $500 for a funeral. My cousin Tommy had started preaching back when he was young, so he had helped me do funerals, and you know, he was with me for 15, 16 years, just playing piano and stuff. So he started doing it, and somebody had asked him to do a funeral, and so he called me. He said, Eddie said, do you get paid to do funerals? I said, yeah, usually you get paid. He said these people had asked him to do a graveside service. It was his very first graveside service, very first funeral. He said, what should we charge them? And I've always kind of poked fun at people anyhow. And I was real serious, and I told him, I said, well, it depends. I said, there's a $50 service for a graveside service, and there's a $100 service. And he said, what's the difference? I said, with the $50 service, because he was a good musician, I said, with the $50 service, you just read scriptures and say a prayer over them. I said, with the $100 service, you play the guitar and give them one song for a $100 service. and he believed me. And I finally busted out laughing. I said, no, you just let people give you whatever they want to give you. But he thought there really was a $50 service and a $100 service. And he told me, he said, I'll play that guitar for an extra $50. But anyhow, ministry. So much fun. God almighty, there was so many years of funness. Funness is what I remember most about it. Yeah, I know it's all people's down on it right now. But my God, it was so fun. So fun all those times back then. Love y'all.